everyone, GM, welcome again to another episode of Market Breakdown. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a few weeks now since I showed up on your screen, if not more up to a month here. And that is because we had to give the market to play out in the previous analysis that I did. And again, we had to give the market time to give us another solid opportunity that we can take and be able to make money again. So with that being said, everything it is that I'm going to go over maybe like 2 or 3 pairs from the ones we checked in the previous market breakdown, which from the previous market breakdown we're able to, like, everything actually played out. Every of the pairs it is, you can go and look at it, you can go and watch it for yourself and be able to verify. We looked at S&P 500, Nasdaq, US30, Solana. I think there's one other pair, but everything it is that we looked at in the previous analysis actually played out, and now we looked at it for itself. We're able to sell everything and we're able to make money. Even Solana, we're able to pick a sell to our first take profit, which was around 100 point something dollars per coin. And then now everything is starting to rally up again, except Solana is starting to give us this selling vibe again, and we're going to look at it as well. So we jumped into S&P 500 back again when it was about to start rallying to the upside. For those of you that are not in the free community and are missing the trade, you're doing yourself a great injustice. So I'm going to once again put the link to my free community in the description below, so check it, or you can just check the comment section. I'm going to pin it there. Just check the comment section and then you can just join us in the free community and then we make money together. So with that being said, I'm not going to waste too much time. If I have any other thing I'm going to be saying subsequently, I'm just going to be taking a pause. I'm going to be saying it during the course of the video, but that's all that is coming to my mind for now. So let's just jump into the video. So for S&P 500, we're able to sell from around here. We're able to sell from around here to here, which was the first level target, and then here when we saw this and then went to a much lower time frame, and then we saw that this was starting to give us a reason for a reversal back to the upside, and then we saw this again, so we closed. And from everything it is, from all the pairs it is that we've been able to take, just the previous video alone, from just the previous video alone, I can tell you for a fact that if you had just stick to that and then you're waiting for the next setup again that we're going to be taking now, or even the previous market breakdown that we've done before that, you would have been able to pass your Profem challenge again. You would have been a funded trader and you would have been part of us that trading in the funded stage and then making subsequent withdrawals as we progress. So with that being said, we're currently buying S&P 500 again, and it's almost as our first level target, and here is our second level target. This second level target is actually Fibonacci extension, which we're buying to. And then with that being said, that's basically everything for S&P 500. We're able to sell, now we're buying again. That's for S&P 500. We didn't catch, I was so busy, so I was unable to check for much pairs for last month. But even though we were able to check for much pairs, we're still able to at least keep our account floating in profit, which is the most important thing to do, So now for Solana, we're also able to sell to around 100.50 thereabouts, which is here, and then we start seeing the rally to the upside. Like I said, there's a chance this rally is going to happen. In the previous video, you can watch it and you're going to see that I actually did talk about it. So now let's check the weekly time frame and let's see what's actually happening. Let's check the weekly time frame and let's see what's actually happening here. So if you look at the weekly time frame from here, we're going to see that the market is rallying to the upside, but here we have a bearish chart pattern that is starting to form. It has actually formed here. So we have this bearish chart pattern that has formed, and then we have the break below the neckline. Now from there, I was anticipating in the previous market breakdown that there is a chance that this market is actually going to pull back again to this neckline before it starts to fall, or we might just start to see a sell from here. So we're able to get the sell to our first level target. We closed partial, we moved our stop loss to break even, so we're able to bank something. Even though we were stopped out for break even, we're still able to make something into our portfolio. So now that it's gotten back to this neckline again, that's pulled back to this neckline. We're starting to see reasons why it should sell from here. We're starting to see reasons why it should sell from here. Like if you look in vividly, let me expand my screen so that I can be able to see what I'm talking about. If you look at it very well, you're going to see that this is an evening star candlestick pattern here. And from this evening star candlestick pattern that has formed, there's a chance that subsequent candles that are going to follow are going to be bearish candles. That is what I basically look out for whenever it is that I want to trade based on this pattern here. That is basically what I look out for. And then I'm going to be waiting for my confirmation. Sorry guys. Okay, so I'm going to be waiting for the entry confirmation, then I'm going to jump in if it shows up. So that is that for Solana here. Let me now take us to the daily time frame. Let me take us to the daily time frame. Sorry guys, I think I'm a little bit clumsy. It's been a while I did any content for my YouTube. I've just been doing content for TikTok. And by the way, yeah, that reminds me, yeah, if you're following me here, you should also do well to follow me on TikTok. The kind of content that I'm dropping there is actually different from the one I'm dropping here. The kind of content I'm dropping there is based on when we're able to make money from our trading. We need to diversify. It's just like whenever if you're not making money and you don't know how to very well manage the money you're making, there's a high chance you're going to work all your life. So I'm doing a series on there concerning financial literacy, financial intelligence, on something to push you and help you to better manage the funds that you're making from trading, or even if it's not even in trading, something to just help you better manage your funds and to help you grow consistently, So with that being said, for this thing, for Solana, now again that it's gotten to this thing, remember we said we saw a double top, a pullback to the neckline, and then a continuation. Is looking like a continuation to the downside wants to happen on the weekly time frame. Now on the daily time frame again, we're seeing this double top. Even after we've seen an evening star candlestick pattern at this neckline region, we're starting to see a double top again. It's broken the neckline, and then now it's starting to look like a possibility of pullback is going to happen into here, and then we're going to start to see a sell again. If that happens, and then I'm able to see a CTL, I'm able to see place to draw a proper CTL, then I'm going to sell. If I get a confirmation below the CTL, then here or here, depending on the market behavior at the time, is going to be my first level target. So I will advise you that you join my free community so that I can be able to know how exactly my trade is going to look like when I jump into it. So either of these zones is going to be where either here, or I'm going to put it here at this body of the candle, is going to be where my first level target is going to be. Here is going to be my second level target, and then here is going to be my overall level target from the monthly target. Here is going to be my second level target. So that for, we've spoken about SPX, yeah, and now we've spoken about Solana. So now let's look at USDCNH. USDCNH has been rallying to the upside. It's been in an uptrend for a while now, but if we look in closely at this, we're going to see this top, and we're going to see this again, more like a triple top, or we can even say 4 tops, that this zone is starting to hold. And there's a chance that if it comes to break here, which is this trend line that is holding it to the upside, and this major zone that is holding it to the upside, if this zone and this trend line is unable to sustain it, also if you draw a Fibonacci from swing low to swing high, there's a high chance that this is around 50 fib. Yeah, that's around 50 fib. If there's no need for me bringing out my Fibonacci, I can easily use my eye to look at it. So it's looking like a 50 fib region. So if all these zones are unable to push it to the upside, and then it comes and break below these zones, all I'm basically going to be waiting for is a break, pullback, and then a continuation. Then I'm going to be selling to here, which is going to be the next zone here, which is the next zone, as you can see here, which is the next zone. I'm going to be selling to the place. However, this is a potential shoulder. This is a potential head, and this is a potential shoulder, which the market can come to form here, coupled with the rest of the zones that the market has given us, that it has shown us already from this same monthly time frame. Like I said, this trend line, this major zone, and then this Fibonacci region here. So if this major zone hold, this trend line holds, this Fibonacci holds, and then it eventually comes to form an inverse head and shoulder pattern here, that means there's a high chance that this bullish momentum is going to continue. So that is that for USD CNH. So either a buy from this region if I'm able to draw a trend line from if I'm able to lay a trend line on this consolidation that is happening to the downside, either a buy from this region. That is, if it breaks the trend line, I'm going to wait again for another pullback to it and then a continuation. So either a buy from this region or a sell from this region. So basically that is that for USD CNH. Now let's check BTC. Let's check BTC USDT. First off, I'm going to come to the monthly time frame for this. I'm going to come to the monthly time frame, which is where you should be starting your analysis from, which is where you should be starting your analysis from. Let's wait for it to load. Okay, and while the tab is still loading, let me just use the opportunity to talk to you guys for a bit. So like I think I've said this earlier, do well to subscribe here. I've not said that. Oh my god, Exodus, what are you thinking? Do well to subscribe to my channel, and we can always trade together and make money together and be happy together. So subscribe, join my free community so that I can know when it is that I'm actually getting into these trades. You can actually follow me, we enter into the trades together, we make money together. And also do well to follow my TikTok. The link to the TikTok page is going to be in the description. Okay, I think this one is coming through. Oh, thank god. Okay, so now BTC has finally have a chart on BTC. So this is it. Let me take out some of these lines so that we can be able to see better and understand what it is I'm going to be explaining. I think this is enough. Okay, this one is not needed. I was just explaining something for some guys during a live session, and that was why we had that on my screen. Okay, so for BTC USDT, if you draw a Fibonacci from here, from this swing low to swing high, since we can see that BTC is trending to the upside, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Now if you bring out your Fibonacci and then you draw it from swing low to swing high here, you're going to see that BTC has pulled back into the 50 fib. Here is the 100 level retracement. It has rallied back to the 100 level retracement, where if you had been trading BTC, like if you already had any position running on BTC, you should actually close out. You should actually make sure you have closed out at least 50% of the position it is that you have running on BTC at this 100 level retracement. Make sure you have closed it out, and then the next thing you want to do is to hold it for this $126,000 point, which is the Fibonacci extension. If you draw a Fibonacci, you're going to see that this is the minus 0.27 Fibonacci extension. So now let's look at weekly time frame. So from monthly time frame, we can be able to see that BTC is trending to the upside here. It's trending to the upside. Now let's look at weekly time frame. Is there anything contradicting that is happening on the weekly time frame, so that we can be able to know if we should prepare for any possible event that is going to say, okay, BTC is no longer moving to the upside. Now if you look at this very well, I believe you would have noticed when I took out an arrow that was pointing to the downside earlier. So if you look at this is looking like a top, this is looking like a top, which we were able to even sell we were able to catch the sales from here to here. If you're in the free community, you would have actually, you should be able to have catch the trade with us. But if you're not, join the free community so that I can be able to catch and subsequently trade with us. I can't be able to come here every time I want to trade, to come and rush and drop a video. But however, I can easily just do a live session on the free community, or just drop my chat and tell them I'm going to into this trade, and then we all make money from this trade together, provided the trade is the one that goes our way. And that is why we make sure we stick into risk management here. So now this double top here, I was of the opinion that BTC could actually have rallied up here, in as much as I knew and I have seen a Fibonacci extension that was pointed to the upside here. I was also seeing this. The thing is, you want to make sure you consider everything, you put everything into consideration so that you can be able to stay prepared. And then if you see any possible movement that says it doesn't want to go your way again, if you're buying, then you now want to close out, and then you want to at least secure the profit it is that you've been able to make from the market. So the market rallied here, and then it stalled. As you can see, it actually stalled, then printed this hammer candlestick, inverted hammer candlestick pattern, which I was expecting that there is a possibility of a bearish candle from here. However, the buyers continued to gain, to come into the market, and then it continued to rally to the upside again. So there's a chance that BTC is just trying to do now that it has broken this major zone again, is that it wants to pull back here, and then it wants to continue to this $126,000. However, BTC can also still make this is, although it has broken this major zone, but it's still within the conference of these previous tops. It's still within these zones here. So BTC can decide to just break below this zone again, and if that happens, I'm still not interested in selling until I see a breakdown below this zone. If I see a breakdown below this particular zone, and then I see a pullback to it, and then I see a continuation, that is when I now want to start selling BTC. But for now, until BTC does something like that, which is a break and pullback and continuation below this zone, BTC remains bullish for me, and BTC remains bullish, which the next target is going to be $111,600 again, then $126,900 again. So now let's look at the daily time frame, and let's see what exactly is happening on the daily time frame. Is there anything contradicting to what it is that we've seen on the monthly and this thing? So monthly says bullish, weekly says bullish, and a possibility for bearish. So now we can be able to position ourselves that from here, like I said, you can easily just draw the arrow back from here. If I see a break, pullback, and a continuation, I'm going to start entering a sell from here, which here is going to be my first level target. Here is going to be my first level target, because you don't want to play with this guy. Now, why? If you look at this very well again, it's looking like a bottom, and then if it starts to sell, here can just be the neckline that is going to push it back again to the upside, and then it's going to continue to the upside. Like I said, put everything into consideration. If you see any major zone in the market, make sure you consider it, and then you look for a way that you can be able to either take your profit from it, or you can just wait it out for the market to clearly push past that zone, so that you can now be able to know that yes, you have a more solid trade, because nothing is going to stop your trade from playing out now. Every zone has been invalidated, or every zone has given you the necessary confirmations. So with that being said, if BTC wants to buy, if you know you truly want to buy, you see this black bar I say, and this CTL that I've drawn, then you want to come, and what I'm going to basically wait for is a break above it on the 4-hour time frame, a pullback to this zone, and then a continuation candle close above this point where it meets, a continuation candle close. Then I'm going to be buying here, like I said, 11,600 region, my first level target, and then $126,000 my overall level target, which is for BTC. But if you know he wants to sell, a break below here, pullback, and continuation for sales. Let's look at Ethereum. That's going to be the last crypto we look at, and we're going to look at CAD CHF, which we already entered into CAD CHF, but we're still going to look at it to see if there's any possible means for us to make money. If there's still a solid reason why we should continue to look at it. So for Ethereum USDT, if you look at this very well, you're going to see this is a this market has been trending to the upside, and this trend line has been holding it. However, this is a top, this is another top, this is the neckline. The market has come, it has broken below the neckline, and then it has given us a pullback to the neckline. The market traded above the zone, which was the neckline. It traded above it, but somehow the buyers were unable to sustain above this zone, which means in as much as this candlestick pattern here is a bullish candlestick pattern, one thing you want to note in the market is chart patterns are usually stronger than candlestick patterns. Why? Because they take more time to form. Chart patterns are always stronger than candlestick patterns because they take more time to form, and because they take more time to form, there's a high, like, because they are stronger, there's a high chance they will play out more than candlestick patterns are going to play out. However, you still want to make sure that you're giving attention to that candlestick pattern and be able to like wait it out, like I said earlier on BTC. Wait for every zone. No, you want to make sure that you're getting the necessary confirmation, the best of the best confirmation from every zone before you now start jumping into your trade. So now, with that being said, this is a double top, this is a neckline, this is a break below it, and then this is more like a pullback. It looks like a sharp retest, and then the market can just continue again with a bullish candlestick pattern based on this morning star. It can just continue with a bullish candlestick pattern, and then that means this chart pattern is not going to hold again. It's not going to hold again, and then we're going to continue to see sales. We're going to continue to see sales, but this we're going to continue to see buy rather. But for this chart pattern is telling us there's a high chance it's going to sell. Now let's look at weekly time frame to be able to see what is actually happening, to be able to see which one weekly time frame is favoring. So we have a reason for sales on on the monthly time frame, and we have a reason for buy on the on the monthly time frame too. Let me remove this trend line. The lines on my screen is too much, and I don't want anything that is going to confuse us. So let me remove this one too. I'm going to bring them back after. Okay, now the reason why this ash bar is here now is because if you look at this, in as much as this is the neckline from the monthly time frame, this ash bar is also something that is, since it's happening on the weekly time frame, it's also something you should actually pay attention to. This move that happened on the weekly time frame is something that you should pay attention to. Now, all I'm basically saying to myself by putting this ash bar here and by drawing the arrow from the bottom of this ash bar is that if this chart pattern wants to hold, that is, if the sales wants to happen, which I'm actually there's a high chance it's going to sell than buys here. There's a high chance of it because, again, if you look at this on this on this weekly time frame, this is a top, this is a top, this is a top, and triple top again, and then it's selling to the downside. If you draw Fibonacci from here to here, this is a pullback into the Fibonacci, and then there's a chance it's going to continue to the downside. So now, with that being said, if you truly know that you want to sell, like if Ethereum truly knows that what he wants to do is that he wants to sell, then all I'm basically going to be doing is that I'm going to be saying to myself that until it comes below this ash bar, break below it, pull back to it, and then gives me a continuation candle close below this ash bar, I am not interested in entering Ethereum. I am not interested. But once I'm able to get this confirmation, then I'm jumping into Ethereum with my risk well managed, and then I'm going to hold my trade for whichever result it brings. But I'm very, very certain that there's a high chance it's going to give me profit, because these are the kind of trades that I've traded before. These are the kind of patterns that I've traded before. These are the, not just studied, but I've taken before, and I've been able to see their outcome over time, that these are the kind of trades that actually produce results. So that is why I'm always very careful. I'm always waiting for the best of the best trade. If I'm not seeing those trades that I very well know that yes, they can produce results, I'm not going to be jumping into them. I am not going to be jumping into them. So like I said again, a break below this zone, a pullback to it, and a continuation candle close for sell confirmation. So now okay, the last pair we're going to be looking at is CAD CHF. Let me just rush through this ASAP. Let's begin from the monthly time frame. So if you look at it from the monthly time frame, you're going to see that CAD CHF is selling real hard. Like the trend is a solid downtrend. Yeah, you're going to see that the trend is a solid downtrend. As you can see, everything is selling real hard. In as much as it consolidates for a while, sometimes everything eventually still continues back to the downside again from the monthly time frame. So with that being said, I'm going to go to the weekly time frame now. Let's see what's happening on the weekly time frame. Let's see what's happening on the weekly time frame. So let's see. So if you look at the weekly time frame, and let me expand my screen, you're going to see that it's also selling again. It's also selling to the downside. Everything on CAD CHF is saying sells. Everything on CAD CHF is saying sells. Now let's look at what's it called? Let's look at daily time frame. So it's progressive, monthly and weekly, then daily for your analysis, and then 4 hour time frame for your entry. 4 hour time frame for your entry. So basically that is how it is. So now from here, if you draw a Fibonacci from here, let me draw it this time so that it's not be like this guy just saying if you draw a Fibonacci and it's not bringing out Fibonacci. So let me draw my Fibonacci this time. I don't want the video to be too long, that's why I'm just trying to rush everything, and but then I'm still trying. I believe I'm trying to make it detailed enough. I'm not supposed to understand that. So now if you look at it very well, this was a move here and then pulled back into the Fibonacci. This, let me take out this black bar so that it doesn't confuse us. I'm going to bring it back. Oh, I should have brought those zones on Ethereum back before I brought it here. Okay, so like I said, from here, push down here, pull back into the 50 fib, and then the 50 fib again is able to hold it back to the downside. The 50 fib is able to hold it back to the downside. Meanwhile, everything that is happening here, all this consolidation that is happening here, nice happy me do it in one do. But the thing is, okay, let's delve into a little bit of psychology, and then we're going to round up the video with that. Yeah, like I said earlier, the thing about trading is you want to know the pattern that actually works. You want to know the pattern that works, like that gives you a high probability in accordance to the kind of risk to reward you trade. And I mean, by risk to reward, I mean if you've been able to study and you've been able to see that yes, you have this kind of win rate, and then during the time of your back testing that you've been able to study, and then you've been able to see that yes, if you take this kind of patterns and then you take it using this amount of risk to reward, that means even though you see those patterns, but you see risk to reward of but the risk to reward they give at the time with those patterns are smaller than you should than you got during the time you were studying, during the time you were back testing. That is, for instance, if you were studying and then you saw an inverse head and shoulder pattern, and you knew that the inverse head and shoulder pattern that you saw over time when you've been able to study and backtest and everything, you knew that yes, it worked for you, that you were able to like result in profit at the end of your study, at the end of your backtesting period. It was able to the cumulative effect of all the time of your study actually resulted in profit, because you were trading a minimum of maybe 1:2 risk to reward, and then you now get into live trading, and then you now see an inverse head and shoulder pattern again, which is actually something you should actually go into. But this time, the risk to reward that you saw, for your for that same inverse head and shoulder pattern is around maybe 1:8, one or maybe almost 2, but it's not exactly 2. The thing is, trading is a game of numbers. So if you're not getting that exact risk to reward that you're getting during the time of your study, it doesn't matter if that trade plays out and you miss it, or it doesn't play out or not. The thing is, you're not going to be putting yourself on a favorable side if you're not taking trades that you were able to see, the kind of trades you were able to see during the time of your study alone. it, if you were able to see a trade that looks like maybe an inverse head and shoulder pattern, and the risk to reward consistently for you, that actually favored you because maybe you're still a new trader or something like that, is maybe around 1:5, you want to make sure that you're sticking to only those kind of trades. You're sticking to only those kind of trade. The inverse head and shoulder pattern, take it if you're able to get that 1:5 again. If you're unable to get 1:5, if you're getting 1:4, because it looks good and everything, and you just jump into it, you're putting yourself as a disadvantaged region. You're not going to be profitable overall. You're not going to be profitable at the end of the week, or at the end of the month, or at the end of the quarter, depending on where it is that you do a cumulative summary of everything it is that you're trading over time. You're going to see that at every point in time, your account is ending up in a drawdown. Your account is ending up in a drawdown, because the truth is, no matter how you want to do it, there will be 1 or 2 trades that is going to result in loss. And because you're not taking the proper risk, the proper trades that is going to give you the proper risk reward that you should have taken, you're now going to end up, let me bring back this black line, you're going to notice that you're ending up not making so I'm back to what I'm saying. So you're going to see that you're ending up not making profit over time. I want to believe this is well understood, but if we don't understand it, you can just comment down below, and then maybe I'm going to do a separate video on psychology, and then I'll post it for you guys. I'm going to do a separate video on psychology and post it for you guys concerning risk reward, everything it is that you should know, and stuff like that. Yeah. So if the things it is that you saw, that you saw and that you traded during the time of your study, during the time you were backtesting, should only be the things you're trading during the life phase, during the time you're actually trading with actual capital. So that is that for that. I believe I've been able to say everything it is I want to say. Okay, again, do want to subscribe, do want to subscribe. We've been able to look at CAD CHF. If CAD CHF eventually comes down here back again, if it eventually comes down here again from this zone, and then it breaks here, best believe you can be able to join us with a sell. You can also join us and click a sell button if it breaks down below that trend line and this zone, this black bar. You can also sell as well here. Our first level target here, our overall level target, this is around almost 1:3. That's 2.39 risk to reward. So that's actually a good risk to reward for me. I don't take any trade that is below 1:2. I don't take any trade below 1:2, but if it's 1:2 upward, I'm good with it. So that is that for CAD CHF. We looked at CAD CHF, we looked at Ethereum. We're waiting for it too. We're waiting for BTC. We're waiting for USDC CNH. We're waiting for Solana. We're already on S&P 500, and that is that for that. So you also to join my free community. I'm going to be dropping the link for my recommended exchange, the exchange I trade with. I'm going to be dropping it, and also I made a video 3 weeks back and I posted it on YouTube here. If you want to know how to use that exchange, it allows you to trade with a risk well managed, and you're going to enjoy trading with that platform. So you can just watch the video, download it with the link in the description below, or in the description of that actual video, and then you come onto the free community. I think I've said that before. Come onto the free community, and then we make money together. Follow me on TikTok too, and that is that for that. Okay, so see you guys in the next episode. Bye.